those body.
How did you discover you were shaman?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I think well, I know that every journey begins at conception. So you cannot be a shaman unless you're conceived as a shaman. So that's a conception. Now then you begin a long process of discovering what's going on. You find artifacts, you find clues, you find where people are pointing you.
You draw symbols?
Up to the age of maybe 18, there's no way that you can leave your known assemblage point of your parents, family, and everyone else. Now at 18, for me, it was beginning a discovery of finding a power spot. And I didn't have any benefactor or any teacher at this time. And I was wandering around in Golden Gate Park, and at that time, I found what's called a power spot. I didn't know what that was other than a safe place where I could bring people and actually have experiences that were beyond my known.
Actually, you had an idea of a power spot because in your childhood, you told me today,
oh, yes.
you had this book to look at.
Yes, I did, at age 6.
And it's kind of like something about, you know, a natural power spot.
This says the last trail. Now that's interesting to how this illustration influenced my illustrations. And of course there's an Indian on there, and it says the last trail. Now I looked at this when I found it today, and not only did it influence my painting, imagination, illustrations, but it said this is the last available trail where you're supposed to go, which was into shamanism. So, it wasn't until many years later, although as an artist I was depicting the unknown a little bit, but I didn't have a clear definition. I'm hacking away. All of a sudden, at age 30, I began to find that all of my family obligations and things were separate from this place I found called the Ridge, which was a Toltec power spot. I didn't even know that word Toltec at the time, but I did know when I went into that natural terrain and began to find medicine wheels and stones that had been left thousands of years ago by the people who came up, the pyramid builders from Mexico. That's as far as they got in Northern California, into this spot that no one knew about. Now I figured in a metropolitan area, and this was out in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area, that planes would see this thing, or force rangers. Nobody knew about this large power circle. I began to bring other spirit brothers up there who were having all these experiences and were getting information. So by age 30, there was a division happening between my known and this other world, which I would later find out was the Noir side of me. I noticed also that my upbringing and religious elements, being raised Catholic, I'd wanted to be a priest, then I was introduced to other forms of meditation, yoga. All these things were contributing to really what my defined focus path would be, which was number one, deeply connected with nature. And number two, deeply connected with a particular landscape where I was walking at the time, which wasn't Tibet or India, so none of those avenues really resonated with me. What resonated with me was the land I was walking on, which happened to be the American Southwest. Now, as I was walking out in the desert one day,
As from that comes the path of heart.
yes,
From
definitely,
that
you know,
lineage that is right here, that we're upon, comes the idea of the path of heart. Everybody then copied it.
that idea
The
of
idea
assemblage
of
point
path
and
of heart.
intention. Those terms were introduced by the magicians of ancient Toltec. The idea of power spot into the vocabulary, particularly Carlos Castaneda, began to resonate with me. My experiences were resonating with his books 100%. Now either he was a little bit ahead of me or I was ahead of him, but every time a book would come out, there it was, staring me in the face. The first teacher who was telling me information about perception and seeing and hearing that was resonating with me.
So we began to arrange the stones back in their pattern, their design. And as we looked closer and closer into those stones, we saw that they were passageways, they were dreamers' doors. So we went through that door, that passageway, into another place. We saw that there were worlds, parallel.
So I was out in the desert eventually in Southern California, right in the Mexican border, and I had been activating all these people, and they were becoming a core group that was similar to all the analogies of Toltec literature.
Well, wait, activating people?
Right. What's happening is that various people from molds that fit like a northern man, a southern woman, all of these molds that I had heard about or were validated later were coming true in my reality as I brought them out to the land.
And the different molds brought different skills, so that the bigger picture is able to be, massaged by a group of people together rather than one person, and each bringing their own flavor or skill or element.
Or like the metaphorical body. Somebody was the head, other people were the legs. So I began to form my myths. However, it wasn't until I found my benefactor. Now in the Toltec tradition, that's a person who doesn't necessarily teach you anything, but validates everything you've been doing up to that point and kind of tells you who you are. So here I am, and I run into an 88-year-old shaman from the Yaqui lineage in Mexico named Cacharo. And when you are discovered by your benefactor, because this is not a volunteer lineage, you can't take classes, you can't go to yoga positions, you have to be discovered by a benefactor. He told me that I was a Noir. I said, what's that? He said, you're a natural leader of a core of people. I said, well, I already got these people, but could you fly up to Northern California and see if I'm doing the right thing? Absolutely. Now, this man had never been on an airplane before, and he was from the Don Juan Matus lineage. He was the northern man of that lineage. So I put Cacharo on the plane, flies up to Northern California, I'm taking him to places in Marin, and I'm taking him to sweat lodges. I'm showing him the spirit places that are all around there.
And that's
he's
also
going,
why we meet
yeah, we haven't met
at
yet.
that point.
Noir, I'm
That's
kind of
the
leading up
amazing
to
thing.
this. Can I have my tea now, baby? Is that right? I need some
Oh,
water.
what did you put?
So,
what did I put?
all of a sudden, I have this strange Yaqui shaman. He's got the vest all beaded. I'm taking him to Chinatown. He's tremendously disappointed. He said, I thought the Chinese were into ginseng. This, looks like places you buy cameras.
Right.
I take him to the sacred parts of Mount Tam. He's going, casa, casa, casa. There's no spirit. I'm feeling kind of disappointed. I take him down to the Goddess Temple down in Boulder Creek. He's going, this is not a temple. I have one place left. My ridge, where I received all of my information. The tour of entertainment is over. I take him to the ridge, home. He begins to walk through the fields. Here's home Gaul. There's various gods and various power plants. He's collecting them. This man knows 4,000 herbs and remedies because of his connection through nature. All right? And that's, as a northern man of the circle, he's the scholar who collects it up. Take him to this, he goes to this Toltec warriors buried in the mountain. He's giving me a tour guide. He's looking at all the people that I've assembled, including Noir at this time, who was invited simply because we were having this walk with this medicine person and maybe teach the people of herb. But there's more to the story. All of a sudden we're sitting in a circle together and he says to me, take Noir with you when next time you go to Mexico. Oh, well, I don't even know her. He's seeing that she is a completion of this large core. She's the woman I need to take care of me in many respects. That's called a courier woman in their myth. So what she does is she shields, takes care of things. In traditional medicine man society, it's usually a female who is manicured, and as those people become ready, it allows the Nawal to further leave the known world, to get information from the other side, because you're not responsible, for example, for numbers and things like that.
Also, courier is a manifestation kind of exercise. It's
Courier?
The courier is able to go into the dream and bring a manifestation from the dream into here.
Into the world of reality?
Yes, and usually we do it in our path, being that we're Toltecs, means artists, we
Okay.
do it through art.
Okay.
Okay, so the idea that we will manifest things on the plane, it's not enough to go dreaming, but we need to manifest the dream in order to continue the evolution. So if
Do you
he's
have
the
a
dream,
mission? Do you have a
if
mission?
he's the spearhead,
Yes.
I take the dream and manifest it.
In other words, she'll arrange, the first mission was in the micro, we have all the visual art as artifacts of our collecting. So whether it's a painting or a film, they're all collected Toltec spirit representations. So they're to move the assemblage point of the viewer into that space. So there's landscape painters and portrait painters, but what we do is the unknown and to move people. And those are particularly magicians of the Toltec lineage who then will see these things even after we're gone, that will use them to help assist in their seeing and their path. So they're magical tools. The
So